tired of women.
That's no good.
Clap for that, you stupid bastard.
To front basket.
Hi, I'm Kamala Harris. I have just met the young people, Lord and Savior, Olivia Rodrigo. Okay. And she has shown me the way of the sticker. Okay. Now, Olivia and I both know how brutal that second Moderna shot can be, okay? If you have your driver's license, okay, you will be happier if you go ahead and do what is good for you and get vaccinated, okay? Do not become a traitor, even if it is your parents' favorite crime, okay? Get vaccinated and do what is good for you. Wait, did I use good for you already? Oh, deja vu. Oh, God, I'm the funniest bitch ever. It's unbelievable.
I'm the funniest bitch ever. It's unbelievable.
So, Olivia Rodrigo saved us all.
Yeah, she went to the White House. So much has happened in the last 2 weeks. Too much to keep track of, which is why we're not going to talk about everything on the podcast. Or it's going to be something we missed.
Well, I mean, basically, like, all of it is just what we've already said, which is that the big overarching story that's, like, interesting to me, at least, is that the FBI just causes terror issues.
Yeah, and Olivia Rodrigo is
a terrorist.
The latest terrorist.
Yeah, she works for Hamas.
She works for Hamas. So she went to the White House and gave like some little like frilly speech about how young people should get vaccinated.
I should probably pull up the speech.
It's like, who are you convincing?
That's my question.
Also, she showed up in like a vintage Chanel suit. You're 17, 18 maybe? You're 8. Where did you get that suit? That's from the Chanel vault. That is not in circulation. They don't make that suit anymore. The skirt suit she was wearing. She looked great. It was really great. I love Chanel. Like, old Chanel looks great. But I mean, it was really pretty. The pink and the black plaid. Yeah, the speech at the White House. It's only 2 minutes. Wow.
I feel like this is going to be like an Access Hollywood fucking
Yeah.
I am beyond honored and humbled to be here today to help spread the message about the importance of youth vaccination.
Good for Olivia
Oh
Rodrigo.
my god, I hate this shit. Good for Olivia Rodrigo.
Okay,
that might
this
actually
might
just
be
be
it.
it. Is this Olivia Rodrigo Vivo?
Jesus Christ.
Fuck me in the ass.
Singer-songwriter
God
Olivia
damn.
Rodrigo,
Who did that?
red lights and stop signs to see us.
Rodrigo
If you know
Updates.
music,
That's the
you'll get
channel.
that dad
Wow.
jokes there. And we just want to thank you for using your platform and your voice for elevating.
it's still
the
so
important
grating. Do
issue
you mind
of
turning it
young
down a
people
little?
Getting vaccinated. She's here today to meet with
Thank
the
you.
president and Dr.
Vaccinated.
Fauci later this
Okay.
afternoon, but she agreed to come say a quick hello to all of you first. With
She
that,
has no idea who she is.
Hi.
No, of course not.
First, I want to say I am beyond
This is the
honored
best field trip ever.
today to help spread the message about the importance of youth vaccination. I'm in awe of the work President Biden and Dr. Fauci have done and was happy to help lend my support to this important initiative.
Oh my god.
It's important to have conversations with friends and family members, encouraging all communities to get vaccinated and actually get to a vaccination site, which you can do more easily than ever before, given how
I
many
love the
sites
watermark
how easy it is to
of a White House official video that says Olivia Rodrigo updates.
Thank you all for helping share this important message.
Why?
It's appreciated.
Bye, thank you.
Bye, thank you.
That's all she said. Just bye.
I don't know. I think Biden probably feels like this, though.
I'm gonna come.
He would have loved to have her visit the White House under him.
Yeah. I don't. Again, like.
Did you know who she was?
I had. Well, I mean, I do know the driver's license song, but
Yeah.
I never like associated it with any person's name. So no, like when I saw that like she like this was like some kind of overarching.
Yeah. What's so funny to me is like I think I'm too old to enjoy, even though I'm not very old. I think I'm too old to enjoy songs like Driver's License because it's about like being in high school.
It's like Friday, but produced by like important people, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's very strange that like she makes fun music. There's some really great songs she has, but it's so odd to when she came out with Driver's License was like the big like shining moment for her that like put her in the spotlight. Just very odd to be like, oh, this is a good song. Can I enjoy this? Is this for me?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's really not. But yeah, super cool to see her go to the White House.
I just don't really understand like who who is she convincing?
Yeah.
We've said it before, but like this administration is just doing an atrocious job of convincing the unconvinced to get vaccinated.
And we're paused up, so like great, we got the shot, but like it is so, and I don't think my parents watched that video we sent to them.
It's fine.
It was really cool. We watched this interview of I forget the guy's name now.
I do too.
But
I'll get it. Hang on. Oops,
he's been studying like why the administration like failed so
in fact,
catastrophically and convincing 44% of the nation to oh my gosh, they're rating us. So we have people in the chat.
Hey.
Actually we can see if you hover over, if you go back to the, let's see. Yeah.
All right.
Oh well, we got a few. Awesome. Hey Hannah. Hey Evie. Hey Welder. Maybe they're rating us. I'm not sure, but Evie says that you've got incoming.
Oh my god.
Well, it's good to see you guys. This is not your regularly
Evie's just
scheduled
stressing me out.
Pokemon content. This is not going to be that at all. We're talking about Olivia Rodrigo at the fucking White House, and how she or how they're just like failing to convince half the population here to get vaccinated.
It's bizarre. I'm gonna send the full interview because like they unlist. Because I subscribe to this channel.
They do, yeah.
So I'm going to send the full one.
But
in the
basically, it's like there is no incentive for people who are in like the upper middle class, who are like conservative, to go get vaccinated. Oh, okay. Oh, awesome, Evie. Okay, so they're not rating, but that's cool. Thank you for stopping by, you guys. There's just no incentive for people like my parents to go get vaccinated right now. And they're not really doing anything about it or addressing their concerns. If they had addressed their concerns in a truthful way, which is like, what are the side effects? Like long term, my sister's pregnant. Should she get the vaccine? She didn't because she's pregnant and there's not enough data or mainstream data on it. So like it's complete like, they just ignore all of the issues of the vaccine.
Right.
That like are potentially there, and we still got it, but like but my parents would never, because there's no way to address the issues they have with it, or they refuse to address them.
And like when I was talking to your parents, I mean, basically it's like if they just said A, B, and C, like, yeah, you know, out of a population of 330 million people, like there are some side effects that happen that like could theoretically be catastrophic, but you know, the number is so astronomically low, so like the odds of you actually having a side effect based on getting it, you know, outweighs the risks you have from getting COVID. Like, and then also just some other sort of transparency things. Like it just, and I asked your dad, I was like, you know, would that be at least kind of enough to make you not feel this skeptical? And he said, yeah. So it just, I don't like, but you know, their solution is to get Olivia Rodrigo to come in and convince younger people to get it, which also I still think that push makes it even creepier to people of your parents' generation.
It is a little creepy, yeah.
And so, you know what? I don't know. I just don't. I don't get it. I really don't understand.
Did you see? Oh, I'm sure you did. And maybe we even talked about it. The Comrade Candace.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Comrade Candace tweeted about like why vaccines are free. If vaccines are free, then what's next? Insulin? Why don't they make insulin free? Why don't they make cancer treatment free? And it's like, you are so close. You're so close. You're so close. And then she tweeted again. She said, just to be clear, I'm not advocating for free healthcare. And like a fucking follow up that was like, just so you're all aware, I'm not a good person.
I know. Well, but it's like, that's the thing is like,
I'm not advocating for being a good person.
Like with this particular issue, like for, you know, like universal healthcare or whatever, there are so many consistent conservative self-owns in this kind of way.
Yeah.
And
this happens like once a month. There's always like this huge conservative who's like, well, this is free. What's next? Insulin? And it's like, Yeah. It
That'd be
is.
great.
It is next.
Your
That'd be
take on it was so
fantastic.
funny to me when when you were just explaining it, because I think you actually saw the tweet before I did.
Yeah. What did I say? What was my take?
You were just like that. You were just like free insulin. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Free cancer treatment. Yeah.
Yeah. She in her follow-up tweet she said I'm not advocating for free healthcare, for universal healthcare. I'm just saying that we shouldn't trust the government because they're giving us this for free.
Right. And there's no
make that make sense.
And she isn't a
connect the dots,
like
sweetheart.
she isn't a stupid person. So like I do wonder, like, did she blast that tweet out after, like, after she like ass blasted 4 glasses of Chardonnay, or like what the fuck? Like what the fuck was that? I have no idea.
I don't know. Oh my God, she also had another self-own that was she was like partnering with a company to make a new phone that's not Google or Apple owned.
Mm-hmm.
And she tweeted about it. She said, I'm so excited to share this project with you guys. I don't know how she talks. I don't listen to Candace Owens.
Very aggressive and pointed.
I am so excited to share with you guys.
There you go.
The new phone that she's developing or whatever with this new company that's not Apple or Google. So it's not an iPhone. It's not a Google Pixel whatever thing. And then at the bottom of the tweet, it tells you how she tweeted it. And it said tweeted from Twitter for iPhone. She's still using the iPhone.
I know.
It's like the same thing.
It would have been so simple as just do it from a fucking computer. I
Yeah.
mean, if you're going to make some kind of announcement like this.
The absolute like hypocrisy. And like to also, because we've talked about this before as well, like all of the Fox News anchors are vaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
And yet they're still pushing that you maybe shouldn't.
No, they're not. I mean, we saw that clip on Breaking Points the other day of even Sean Hannity being like, "Go fucking do it." Like if Sean Hannity,
Laura Ingraham is kind of who I'm talking about.
I don't know. I don't know really what she said about it.
She just said, "So there's no reason for anyone to get vaccinated," is what you're saying, and she would say that to like multiple guests. It's like, great, and you're vaccinated, and you're telling this to your audience.
And what's shitty about it is it's like it's because of this fucking Delta variant hysteria, where it's like, I had a friend send me a Newsweek article that was all about how rising cases in this Delta variant is what made the mask mandate come back in LA County, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Not because I mind wearing a mask. It's none of that shit. It's just more like, who is making these decisions? Because we have, like, again, we are all literally beaten to death by saying trust the CDC and the science, and then LA County can just decide on a fucking whim to bring this back. And so, like, that's more my concern. And also, too, my whole goal is the same as you fucking shitlibs, where I'm, like, trying to convince you to just message this differently, and it might at least get, at a minimum, 2 million more people to get it.
Yeah.
Like, that's all we're really asking. I mean, we can only do so much.
And we also talked about, like, a long time ago on the podcast, how they were literally giving $100 to everybody who got vaccinated in a certain city. A genius idea.
Yeah, that was West Virginia.
Because largely the people who are not getting vaccinated are poor people.
Yes. Yeah.
In areas like this one, they don't trust the government and like people of color, like they don't trust the government because historically, medically, like they've been mistreated. Like they have, like I think either it was Ryan Grimm or somebody was talking about it on Rising or something. How like medically they will, like they have heard a story of their friend like getting mistreated when they're pregnant.
No,
at the hospital,
that was the interview. Like,
it was the
that
same
was
interview.
Like, yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to post it into the chat, but I think it automatically flags
links.
But I'll post it in the description after this is over. But it's a great interview. Michael Dodry is his name.
Yeah.
But basically, it's like, and like it's what we're desperately looking for. Like I would say that Breaking Points is like a left of center channel. Like even with Sagar being there, who's like the quote unquote conservative, but even he said like I don't know what the fuck I am anymore.
Yeah.
But the interview was just so great because it was like, really the crux of it is like the people who are unconvinced to get the vaccine, you need to speak to them with respect. Yeah. Like, don't treat them like they're fucking stupid rubes, because that will never convince anyone to do anything. So yeah, like it just is so, I don't know. It's so clear to me. Dalry says early live show. This is a different. We're not. This isn't like that. We're still gonna do the Saturday at 3 thing consistently. But we have to go to a baby shower tomorrow. So
yeah,
we get to go to a baby shower tomorrow. We don't have to.
We get to go to we get cocktails and hors d'oeuvres,
which
and
that's
also to
my
enjoy
incentive.
a baby shower.
Yeah. Well, I was asking you, when the fuck did baby showers become not a ladies only
Co-ed
thing? Yeah.
They should be ladies only, and honestly, we should express our discomfort with that and just not go. No, I already
don't threaten me with a good time. I mean, come on. But
this is an abomination to tradition.
Well, I'll keep fine. We can keep writing that line. I literally have never ever heard of this being the case. Like even your mother was confused. She was like, "What?"
It's just a cookout.
Yeah.
It's just my dad's side of the family's excuse to have another cookout.
Yeah.
All the time we're having cookout. I mean, they're fun, but
yeah. Of your family of 7,000 people.
Yeah, there's probably like 60 people.
It's crazy how big your family is. I literally can never wrap my head around it.
The first like barbecue thing I went to when I came back from when we moved here from Florida, there were more people there than I've ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And it was family I'd never even met. It was family from other countries at this barbecue. Or it was like they rented out like a space for it. And there were, so all of my immediate family, of course, and then uncles, aunts, all of my cousins, which I have 10,000 of because my family can't stop having children. So I probably have, let's see, 2, 4, 6. I have at least like 15 cousins on my dad's side that are like immediate cousins, like first cousins. After that, second cousins, so many, and they're all in Nicaragua. It's like they're all over the place, but they were all at this one, and that's the one where one of my cousins called me out for being gay.
Oh right,
yeah, that was
funny.
the same one, which was really cool.
Yeah,
and then he was like, "I know who you voted for."
Okay,
I was like, what? It was like 2016.
And what's so funny
2017.
is like, that's kind of like the other side of the argument of like, I also get that problem from fucking like just big D blue Democrats of like
big D, small D, but capital D.
Capital D, like, because they will literally suck the big capital D all day long and gargle the cum and enjoy it. So it's this thing of like, yeah, well, you're gay, so you must. It really is this sort of homophobia. Like, and we'll get into like talking to our neighbors, which I think is like part of this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But like this assumption, because like you have some kind of minority status in the world, like you must believe in all the same things.
Yeah.
And like typically, you know, I have been like at the very minimum a down ballot Democrat voter, but I'm super pro 2A. Like guns are like shall not be infringed. Like that is like a hard stance of mine. And you tell that to these people that have like been convinced and don't really know. Like they think that AR-15 stands for assault rifle and not Armalite rifle.
Assault rifle 15. Where are the other 14?
Yeah, exactly. I want to know.
There are a whole 15 assault rifles in this country.
Mm-hmm. They're only 15. Only 15.
And wow, we've had that many mass shootings. Incredible. They must be passing it along to each other.
Is this your significant other?
Yeah, well, dude, this is Jordan.
Dalry says, I'm still nervous about getting the vaccine, and I'm a man of science. Fauci and all have lied too much. Yeah, I mean, look, it didn't kill us. I
felt great.
I mostly did it I did it for a few reasons. Like number one, like my family is really like intense on the you must kind of side, so just to like mitigate that damage. Also to get it and then be able to talk to people like Sean's family that are like unconvinced and just be like, hey, like I sympathize with all your sentiments, but I still got it, so I have some credibility in that line.
Yeah.
Like, other than just being a giant anti-vax circle jerk. The last part of it is to, like, you know, for example, LA put the mask mandate back, and I've just said no. Like, I literally just will not wear it. I will not do it. It's because you guys don't get to do this. You don't get to punish us for doing this. And so that's to me was just to have that fucking card of like, hey, I have validity in your eyes, but also don't agree with anything you fucking idiots are doing to like try to like. Everyone's just become at the end, like, we all know this person. At the end of the day, when you were in school and you hear the bell ring and then you're about to get dismissed and you're like, oh, thank God the teacher didn't make us turn in that homework assignment I forgot to do. And the person goes, teacher, you forgot to collect our homework. That's what every fucking liberal has become. Yeah. And it's so fucking annoying.
Those kids wish they could grow up to be cops.
Yeah, and like that's it's turned every
but they're
fucking,
never
mostly white women into just hall monitors. It's the
hall
fucking worst. Yeah. And it's nice to meet you too. It's exhausting.
Truly.
And so like we met some of our neighbors the other night. Do you want to tell that story a little bit?
Yes, we were walking PETA and we
I can show the audience PETA.
Oh God, he's like, no, I was laying down.
This is PETA.
This is Peter. Oh my god. We we're walking him, and we passed by this house, and because he's gonna snort right into it. We passed by this house, and a lady comes out, and she was like, "You better not be letting your dog shit on my yard." We're like, "No, we have bags, and even if he does, we'll pick it up, but it doesn't look like he's gonna poop or whatever." But like, we got talking to her about how like people just let their dog shit anywhere, and they don't pick it up, and there's trash everywhere, and she's like, "Yeah, this sucks. Do you guys want a cocktail?" And she made us cocktails in her yard.
And I think like what made it sort of like, and it was like a very, so I grew up in the South, and like a very Southern thing is like exchanging food or drink to be sort of, you know, the thing to like make friends or whatever. So like the fact that they offered it first, also I would never say no to a cocktail. Right. So it was a hard, oh fuck yeah. And she's like, "Do you like it strong?" And I'm like, "Yeah." "Oh fuck yeah, I do." Yeah, are you serious?
And so she comes out with cocktails, and her sister is also there, who lives literally right across the street. And so they come out. We're talking to them for like a solid hour.
I think like 2 hours. We like almost.
I think it was a little less than that, because we walked him at like 10:30, and we got back at 11:30. So, but you know, like at least an hour of talking to them, and like what did we talk about?
I mean, so they were black. Did you mention that? Like,
no, I did not.
Okay, no. Yeah, like, and that's kind of important. Like the neighborhood.
That's the majority of our neighborhood.
The neighborhood we live in, it borders on Compton, which is like a very changing. Like Compton's very interesting right now, because like everyone sort of has, when I say Compton in their mind, they kind of think of Straight Outta Compton or like whatever younger generations would think of the city. But really, what Compton has turned into is, like, this word gentrify, for example, doesn't really mean what most people think it means. It just means that like the demographics of an area changes, and sometimes it makes it a little like higher priced. So Compton now is actually a pretty relatively safe city. I mean, LA County has so many fucking problems, so just you have to use that context when I'm saying this kind of stuff. But like Compton is pretty safe and mostly occupied now by working class Latinos. And when that happened, it pushed back a lot of the like sort of African American gang violence type of stuff like into North Long Beach, like which is like essentially where we live. Not really, we're like in West Long Beach.
Yeah, we'd be in West.
Yeah, and so, but a lot of the ex-Compton residents, which both of them was Juanita Compton too, or was that just Meredith?
I forget.
I think Juanita, the one that gave us the cocktails.
No, Juanita is Compton.
No, she
Meredith is Chicago.
Chicago, that's right. Yeah, so but
our neighbors.
Yeah, but like, and Juanita, our neighbor, lived here for, I think she said 27 years.
Yeah,
and so like, it's interesting. Like, we moved to this like lower income part of our city together. I have met people around you, like, because we are the minority here. Like, not even just being gay, but also being white. I mean, like, really, we are that. And I like these people way more than the fucking like Belmont Shore where I used to live. Where
Belmont
it's
Shore
like,
lesbians,
just awful white liberal lesbians that have those fucking hate has no home here signs in their lawn, which we'll get into in a moment. So, you know, her and I were talking, and I just said, like, you know, if someone were to run for politics here, what is something that you'd want to change? And she's like, there's just trash everywhere. And I'm like, yep, I know. And I kind of told her like how I'm kind of interested in like just the 4 blocks ago from where we live to the street that's the main street. It's like on the other side, not 4 blocks, but I think it's like 6 rows of like houses on like this little square area, just going around and cleaning it up like pro bono, you know, not to like take a selfie. I know I'm saying it on this, so it does take out the integrity a little bit, but I think it's important to the story, like irrelevant anyway. And there was nothing about us talking with them, and you can speak to this, of just like our differences made no difference. Like, they figured out we were a couple pretty quickly. Yeah. One of them was a lesbian, and so I think she's the one that fucking zeroed in on it super fast.
She clocked us for sure.
She did. And what was interesting was like nothing that I was saying about politics, because, you know, we like everyone's so reactionary now, where it's like, if you go, hey, like Dr. Fauci has lied a lot, they go, well, you're a fucking Trump supporting anti-vax retard, and you're like, no, you have to also admit that your side has failed in many ways, or else like we can't have a discussion anymore. And these people that we met the other night are people who, it made me realize that online, well, I already knew this, but like online discourse, which informs a lot of like white liberals, is not, who end up speaking for Juanita and Meredith are people who have no finger on the pulse of what people like that actually think.
No.
Like, they have no idea, and they don't have the conversations we had with them because they're absolutely terrified of black people.
Yeah.
Like, just absolutely terrified. And to me, it's just another fucking person. I literally didn't care. And like now, to me, it's like all this other thing. So like she gave us cocktails. Like now, I'm like I must give her food.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have to return the food favor. Like and so, to me, it was just meeting. Like every neighbor we've met here has been extraordinary. Like just lovely fucking people. Not nosy in your business unless you want to give the information. Like not stop and chat bullshit. It's very much like we're all neighbors. We all want to protect each other. Like. National politics are a fucking joke. They both agreed, but like we can maybe work here. And like the cool part, the conclusion we came to was like, what do you think we can do about this crime problem? Because like I said on one of the other podcasts, like I almost died in a fucking drive-by, like right around the fucking corner.
Yeah.
Actually, and they knew about that too. And I'm like, she's like, well, we should start like a neighborhood watch. And I'm like, well, the problem is that like there are two dominating demographics in our neighborhood. It's African Americans, and then it's working class Latinos, many of which maybe aren't legal residents, so they're scared of talking to anybody that asks them questions, and I understand that. And they also don't speak English. Fortunately, your uncle that lives downstairs does speak Spanish. So like I think that organizing with these people all need to meet each other and like know that we're all on the same side of like this shit needs to stop, and like we all need to watch each other's backs. Like if that's the message I can get across, fucking A. So. We do have two other white gay neighbors. What's the sign they have in their lawn?
It's the hate has no home here. In this house, we believe in science. Black lives matter. Hate has no home here. What else is there?
Love is love.
Love is love. Women are beautiful. Or I don't know. Some
fat
dumb.
people are great. Like I mean,
we love fat. And so one of those signs, we've talked about them ad nauseum, but we asked them about that family because we like had never really like met them or anything. They don't say hi. They don't leave their house really. They have a kid and a dog that is so yappy. And all they had to say was, yeah, that family is interesting. And we're like, oh, we get it.
And I'm like, have they talked to you? And she's like, no. And I'm like, because they're scared of you.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, they're absolutely scared of you. Like they like, and again, I don't know. I don't really know if it's like my experience, like growing up where I grew up. Like when I lived in North Carolina, I was like largely like I was definitely solidly middle class, if not like upper middle class. But they were trying to mix this school they called magnet schools. Like so they would bus. Like I was the one who got bussed into this school. Yeah. Which ended up getting demolished. It doesn't even exist anymore. Like they tried an experiment, but like my classrooms were like 80%. Black and 15% white, and then just kind of other, So like, I think in my formative years, like there was just kind of no difference. It's like my best friends were people who were black, and and so like I mean like that isn't like any acknowledgement that or like any sort of statement about that racism isn't real or whatever, but it's like to me the solution not the solutions, but like at least the mitigating of the damage caused by slavery and Jim Crow is not being echoed by the most progressive people in our legislation. It's like they say things like we need to end racism. I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean? Because if you say that, then you have to admit, okay, like these crimes against Chinese Americans are not. It's not white supremacy doing that. So like you are digging yourself into a hole if you just kind of go like, look, we are a country of 330 million Americans. We are the most diverse country on the fucking planet. At the end of the day, we're all fucking Americans. Considering how diverse we are and our very short history, we've done a pretty fucking good job. And really what it comes down to is like, why do black people struggle? And it's like, and I think I even said this to them, it's like because they got no generational transfer of wealth. None. Like no property ownership, nothing.
From the inception of this country.
And this also goes to Latinos that are here. Like, I mean, I met with this loan officer at Bank of America who was like the child of immigrants from Mexico. And she... I said the same thing to her, and she's like, absolutely. Like, why would my parents have anything to give me? Like they like they don't have anything. Yeah. And so, but our power elite throw out these words like they do everything they can to divide us. Like white people are inherently racist. They don't care about anything because they don't have to discuss, well, it's money. It's money, it's class, it's generational wealth. And then, then we watch Bezos shoot off to space with a twink in his dick rocket, and it's like,
yeah, that did happen.
So, I mean, I don't know, but it was just like a very, like, every person we've met in this neighborhood, it's like
amazing.
Same problems, same challenges, same willingness to listen to kind of what I have to say.
Exactly.
Because I've said it on when we interviewed Steve one of those times, that I just want to do local tiny politics, because I think like even when you get to like city council, it starts to get like really corrupt. But really, like, I have only met lovely people here. I love our house, and I do love our neighborhood, even though it's fucking rough.
Yeah.
And like, how do we fix it without changing it? Like, that's all I want to do. I just want to make these people's lives better.
Exactly.
And so, like, that's kind of what makes it so funny of, like, people, like, vouch or, like, they're going to, like, debate, like, whether or not the United States should be a communist. I mean, whatever the fuck he argues. And it's like, well, you can yell and scream into your webcam as much as you want, but, like, what are you doing? Like, this is what I know I can do something about. Like,
when's the last time he talked to a black person?
Oh, he would be so scared to do it.
A stranger. Like... Yeah,
not some intellectual he would get, like,
a neighbor.
Yeah,
when was the last time he talked to his black neighbor?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, based on like what I know about him, he was born in Beverly Hills, and like I don't know if he still.
He
lives
also
there.
used to be hot.
Yeah, that was like a really striking thing.
That's
like,
so sad.
And it's so funny because like I don't really think he has like he has some terrible fucking opinions about some things, but I think generally like his worldview on like how to fix America like is not totally terrible.
Yeah.
And then, like we said, his Gaza Strip money he raised for Palestinian children was fantastic.
Yeah,
I can't shit on him for that. But it's like, yeah, he does meme himself into existence by either saying that like age of consent laws should be lowered, or like you see that side by side of like when he was hot and now he's like this dumpy fat top knot retard. It's like, this is what socialism does to like, he's just so easy to meme on. You know? And like he's just a giant fat man baby now. Who, by the way, I was like reading, he lives with his ex-partner, like, so an ex-girlfriend of whatever.
That is so weird.
He just gives me like the Amazing Atheist vibes. It's like that sort of like
Atheist.
that like post-atheist YouTube thing, and they all became political, and they all kind of like share the same opinions.
Yeah.
But I'm not talking about Vouch, but I just mean that sort of wave of people, and that they're like now as authoritarian as like cultural Christianity was in the 90s that we all grew up with. Like, it's just like, don't you get it? don't you fucking get it? But no, they don't.
No.
But yeah, like I actually started to segue into something, one of the next topics, which was Jeff Bezos' dick rocket.
Yeah, he went to space. Well, low orbit.
Yeah, well, I mean,
suborbital. What is it? What suborbital elevation? I don't know. He didn't even really go to space.
So
he's lying.
I just want you guys to see how much his rocket looks like a dick.
Huge penis. Kind of thin. Skinny penis.
Yeah, it's probably a reflection of his own sort of phallus situation.
Yeah.
But it was like weird because like Jeff Bezos is kind of like it's like Jeffrey Epstein, where you like never really hear him speak.
Jeffrey Bezos.
Jeff
Epstein.
Basically, what we're saying is anybody named Jeff or Jeffrey is a pedophile.
It's true.
So yeah, he just touched the tip of space with his tip. He did just the tip.
Amazing.
But yeah, he shot some twink up there with him, which was also really funny to me.
Yeah, how did he end up deciding on the twink?
I don't know. Probably some, like, he was like some, sort of, he probably won some fucking award at his school or whatever for doing, like, I'm not shitting on the twink, but it was just funny that, like, to me, just Jeff Bezos is shooting twinks into space. It's just funny to me.
Yeah, that is pretty hilarious. That zero gravity nut.
Yeah, but it like what was been weird is like this just never ending. Like, it's important to know. Like, so Jeff Bezos, he we never hear him speak. So when he does, it's like just always weird shit that comes out of his mouth, because when you get that rich, you're a crazy person. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
I think you have to be crazy to make that amount of money, and then you have to be like crazy to maintain it. And I think also, even if you weren't crazy before you made it, somehow when you have that much money and you just sit on it, I think that's also part of like this miserly sort of rich person thing.
For sure.
Is bizarre. I've seen it in my own family. It's fucking weird. So anyway, like when he gets down, he's like, "Oh, I want to thank my Amazon employees," which was so ironic.
Amazon employees and the people who use Amazon. You paid for this, is what he said.
Which also is not totally true, because Blue Orbit, like basically the funds he used. Blue Origin, sorry.
Is it? It's Origin.
It's
right?
Origin. You're right. Yeah. Was also funded through our taxpayer money.
Yeah, they gave him money to do this.
So we
we gave him money to do this.
Everybody here in the chat, everybody that we're talking to.
Even if you don't have an Amazon subscription.
No, yeah, we
a few pennies of yours probably ended up directly
at
in
the
his
very
pocket.
least, like ended up doing this vanity project where he could shoot himself and Twink and his brother into space.
Yeah.
And then because he controls so much of the media, including his vanity paper, which is the Washington Post that he owns, everything was just like glowing, like, wow.
Why Jeff Bezos going to space is good news for you. It's like, what? Why this is going to be a great thing in the long run.
Yeah, and it's like, well, for who? Like,
yeah.
And so, like, you take our money so then you can, like, I don't know, shoot Lance Bass into space as well? Or, like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here? And then also, this is not revolutionary. I mean, we had somebody on the moon in 1960. Like,
yeah, this is 80 years old.
Yeah.
80? 80.
You can't ask me to do math. It's
60 years old. 60.
11 years old.
Wait, this happened 3 years ago.
This happened on 9/11.
Steven Spielberg was born on 9/11 and filmed the moon landing.
And he's also a pedophile.
Probably.
Well, you do know the conspiracy theory that Stanley Kubrick shot the moon landing.
Oh,
right?
it's Kubrick, not Spielberg.
Yeah, it's Kubrick.
Oh. Stanley Kubrick was born on the 4th of July, 1822.
Mm-hmm. And Dan Crenshaw is his son. Oh yeah, that reminds me. Like, so we did that video shitting on Dan Crenshaw with his cum arms.
Yeah.
And his summer of 18 whatever.
Summer of 1776.
Whatever.
The year our country was founded.
We were so cunty about it, especially me, like saying that, like, Brock Turner would like be a guest DJ. And then the musician that, like, I read his lyrics and made fun of him, like, responded to the video, and I was like, oh, now I feel kind of bad.
Yeah, the actual musician.
Because, like, no one really listens to us, like, I mean, just in the grand scheme. I mean, we have, like, really lovely people that do, but it's like, we don't really do this to, like, make money. It's mostly just because we like doing it. It's why we have so many episodes and only so much growth over that period of time. Yeah. But I forget sometimes that people like this musician would search out the title of that video to see if there's footage of him, and then just see us absolutely eviscerating his whole career choice.
Did you ever reply to him?
I just said, I think all he said is like, it was a really fun time. You guys should have come. And I was like, I just said, I'm sure it was. Like, you just know this isn't jest. We're like a comedy show, Because I as a musician too, I did feel like really bad about it.
Absolutely.
And so, because I was like, there was like really personal pot shots I took. I just, it's easy to forget though that sometimes that you might reach the person you were talking about, and we did, unfortunately. So
yeah.
Dallery says, this country will spend money on everything but the right thing. P.S. Imagine giving away $100 million and that being 1% of your total.
0.01%.
That's the thing, right? Like, I mean,
that's probably like a modest estimate of percentage.
Like, it's weird because if I were to have the money that Bezos had, I would just inherently feel gross about having it.
Yeah.
And then,
but it's more money than you could possibly give away or spend in your entire life.
It's insane. And and keep in mind to anybody that might be like conservative listening to this, like, I do understand the difference between liquidity and assets. Like, that's not lost on me, right? But I mean, it's safe to assume at the very fucking minimum, Jeff Bezos has like 10 billion in liquidity. Like, and even 1 billion still. It's just this.
That's absurd.
It's like when you see that number on paper and you imagine like what everything in your life costs, like you imagine trying to spend that amount of money.
Yeah.
I mean, like, literally, if I had that kind of money, I would be going to restaurants constantly and giving the servers $10,000 in the tip. Like, it would just be like, like,
it'd be nothing.
It would be nothing. And I really don't understand. Like, now that he's not the CEO of Amazon anymore, it's like, well, like, and then like Bill Gates too. He's like, well, there's something he signed where he'll give away all his money when he dies. I'm like, why not now? Like, why not do it now?
Yeah.
Like,
you're not using it.
You're not using it. Well, he has to buy.
He's to buy all of the farmland.
He's the largest. He's the largest landowner of
on the planet, right?
On the planet, yeah.
He has the most land out of any person.
Yep, and somehow he's also the person that we turn to talk about vaccines, which is
also like
fucking weird.
With this Jeff Bezos thing, like Breaking Points talked about it. How like this push to go to space is like we're gonna start sending all of our like our farming and our industry to space so that we don't have to pollute the earth anymore. And it's like we could just fix what we have here.
Right.
But the thing is about sending it to space is that it's now going to become nationally funded or like government funded. So we have to pay for these things, and the amount of money that gets paid to them is just going to go into their pockets.
And it logically makes no sense.
It's going to make them way more money to send our shit into space than for them to just fix it here.
And it logically makes no sense because the amount of production that would have to go into terraforming Mars, like we'd have to build all that shit here,
and then sending the resources back.
It's really just the stupidest thing I ever hear people talk about. And then also again, like people who, and this is like now a universal thing to like not talk about like climate change or whatever. And like, look, you know, like do I know if it's like as imminent of a disaster as like the left kind of says it is? I don't really know.
Yeah.
Do I think it's probably a good idea to like take care of where we live? Like, yeah, I do. So my view on that is very smooth brained and just simple. It's just like, like let's just kind of do our best maybe here, like, and you know, and kind of take a look at like our factory farming practices, so like animals don't have a horrible life before we eat them, like you know, but the thing is like what it always gets pushed off to the consumer, and like our emissions are so low in comparison to the companies that like tell politicians to blame us. It's just it seems to be a problem that nobody's interested in solving other than loud liberals, you know, and their plans are just ridiculous. So, you know, I don't know. But anyway, vaccine stuff. There's a very heated exchange between Dr. Oh my goodness gracious, he is sleep barking.
Oh my god. His eyes are open too.
Yeah, no, he's always like in a state of like a ether state. It's like this in between sort of thing. But anyway, like heated exchange happened between Dr. Fauci, who is just this fucking retarded mouth breathing Guido who will not say no to any media opportunity that could possibly put his way. And like, you know, since the beginning of the whole pandemic, we said that like, you know, it's kind of odd that this Wuhan Institute of bat
virology,
fucking cum viruses are made in this lab, but we're going to blame it on this wet market where people eat horrible animal foods. But they're like, oh, absolutely not. Like, absolutely not. It could not have come from this lab. No, no way. No fucking way. And so do you like when, well, you wouldn't, I mean, even I was too young, but like when the Clinton, like Monica Lewinsky thing was happening, there was like all this like language with his lawyers about the word is like means different things. It was like this weird kind of semantic language argument about how he couldn't have lied because is wasn't the is that it just
that is so stupid.
So like this whole exchange is the is argument.
Said was subject to the pause in 2014 to 2017, a pause in funding on gain of function. But the NIH failed to recognize this, defines it away, and it never came under any scrutiny. Dr. Richard E. Bright, a molecular biologist from Rutgers, described this research in Wuhan as supposed to be a federal pause. Dr. Fauci, knowing that it is a crime to lie to Congress, do you wish to retract your statement of May 11th where you claimed that the NIH never funded gain-of-function research in Wuhan?
I hate him so much.
Microphone.
Your microphone.
Senator Paul, I have never lied before the Congress, and I do not retract that statement. This paper...
So time out. Doesn't this kid look like the inspirational kid that had that weird sort of viral moment?
Oh, what was his name? Ziad?
Yeah.
I think it was Ziad.
Doesn't he look just...
I think it was Ziad Ahmed.
I mean, maybe it's kind of racist to say that, but I kept thinking that when I was watching it, and I think this kid agrees with Fauci for whatever
Where
reason.
he's got like this extreme like affect to him, this little like theater kid affect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you were referring to was judged by qualified staff up and down the chain as not being gain of function.
It's such bullshit.
Take an animal
Let me
virus
finish.
and increases transmissibility to humans.
Right.
You're saying that's not gain of function?
Yeah, that is correct. And
He is
Senator
such-
Paul, you do not know what you are talking about. Quite.
Keep in mind, too, like to those who don't know, I don't agree with Rand Paul on easily 75% of what he believes.
Yeah. Bland Paul.
I really liked his dad a lot, Ron Paul, but like Rand Paul turned kind of more into a mainstream conservative, and Ron Paul was more of like a true libertarian without some of the crazy shit, some of it, but you know, people shouldn't have driver's licenses and that kind of dumb shit that libertarians do.
Yeah, they always turn into that.
It's
driver's
just-
licenses, fuck any person of any age.
It's too much freedom. It's like I do think people need some accountability, but whatever. But I think that like a lot of my views do line up with Ron Paul. But anyway. Rand Paul is also a doctor. Like, that's important to know.
Yeah.
He's an ophthalmologist. I actually found out today that like he volunteers a lot of his free time to go to like third world countries to do pro bono.
That's awesome.
Like eye surgeries and shit.
So he's a pretty good person.
Pretty good person, but also a doctor. I think that's like the more important part.
Yeah.
So like,
frankly, and I want to say that officially.
Went to the same type of medical school as this
what you are
fucking
talking
Guido.
about. Okay, you get one person.
Let's read from the
Madam
NIH
Chair, can I
definition of
answer the
gain of
question?
function. This is your definition that you guys wrote.
This is your definition,
It says
Dr.
that
Fauci.
Scientific research that increases the transmissibility among mammals is gain of function.
Mammals.
They took animal viruses that only occur in animals, and they increased their transmissibility to humans. How you can say that is not gain of function?
It is not.
It's a dance, and you're dancing around this because you're trying to obscure responsibility for 4 million people dying around the world from a pandemic.
And let's let Dr. Fauci.
I have to. Well, now you're getting into something. If the point that you are making is that the grant that was funded as a sub-award from EcoHealth to Wuhan created SARS-CoV-2, that's where you are getting. Let me finish.
We don't know.
Well, wait a minute.
That's the thing. We don't know, but just admit that you had a vested interest in this.
Yes.
That's like all we're asking you for.
Yeah.
Like, were you responsible for 4 million people dying? We don't know. Might you have been because you made the Trump administration resume gain-of-function research?
Yeah.
You might have been. Just fucking say it. And like to Del Reese's point, Fauci's lying his butt off but wants to be famous so bad. I mean, this is going to go the way of Michael Avenatti. I'm telling you. Like, or Cuomo. I mean, they keep lionizing these fucking idiots, and it's like, look, you know, I'm not discrediting what Fauci knows. It's just like, you are seriously one of the anti-vax people are not the biggest enemy to people getting vaccinated. It's people like this, and every institution that lionizes him, and it's so
From the
annoying.
lab, but all the evidence is pointing that it came from the lab, and there will be responsibility for those who funded the lab, including yourself.
I totally
This committee will allow the witness to respond.
I totally resent the lie that you are now propagating, Senator, because if you look at the viruses that were used in the experiments, that were given in the annual reports, that were published in the literature, it is molecularly impossible.
No one's saying those viruses caused it.
It
No
is
one is alleging that
molecularly.
those viruses.
And it's important to also know that we have his emails where he also said that it might be possible.
Yes.
So now, literally, all he's doing is trying to save face. There's nothing else happening here.
Caused the pandemic. What we're alleging is
What he says is a liar
gain-of-function
isn't-
research
is
was going
irrelevant.
on in that lab, and NIH funded it.
That
You
is
can't
not-
get away from it. It meets your definition, and you are obfuscating the truth.
I'm not obfuscating the truth.
Senator
You are the
Paul's
one.
time is expired, but I will allow the witness to.
Let me just finish. I want everyone to understand that if you look at those viruses, and that's judged by qualified virologists and evolutionary biologists,
who work in
those
the
viruses
NIH.
are
Exactly.
molecularly impossible.
Who now feel like they
saying
might be in
are.
trouble.
No
And
one's saying those
SARS-CoV-2.
viruses caused the pandemic.
Senator Paul,
We're saying they are gain-of-function viruses because they were
They're not.
animal viruses that became more transmissible in human, and you funded it.
And
Don't
you
admit the truth.
and you
Senator
implying
Paul, your time has expired, and I will allow witnesses who come before this committee to respond. Dr.
and you are implying that what we did was responsible for the deaths of individual. I totally resent
could
that.
have
And
been.
if
And it
anybody
could
is
have been.
lying here, Senator, it is you.
This is fucking insane, dude.
Yeah.
He's unhinged.
He-
and he knows he's in danger.
And that's the thing is like again, like, and it really is like a really bad American trait. Like I do love this country, whatever, but it's just this thing of like Germany and Japan get this really right. Of like when they fuck something up, they own it. To
They
Japan,
step
sometimes
down.
it's like it would be like a harikiri, sort of just like you know, it's like
Yeah.
just crazy shit. Seppuku. Sorry. What is harikiri?
What is harikiri?
I forgot. Anyway, seppuku. That's what I meant.
Harikiri
And
turns out to be some little anime girl.
It's
It's like Harikiri.
The body pillow I ordered the other day and I forgot about. But yeah, it's so ridiculous, and it's like this thing of like, look, I mean, you like if you guys just admitted that this is possible, and also has something that has happened in history. Like we've talked about it before, but like Lyme, Connecticut is where they think they were doing gain of function research with ticks. Suddenly, all these school children around the area from deers and dogs got this mysterious illness that turned out to be Lyme disease. And it's like, we just want to know what's going on. So maybe we just don't do this anymore, please.
Yeah.
Like I think that would be kind of the easy thing. So yeah, it's ridiculous. And like also too, it's like we have so much transparency on what you said. So like, and like also it would probably endear you to the side that hates you now. It's too late now. But if you had done it before,
Yeah,
just
of
being
course.
like, I don't know. Like, I mean, it's possible. And like, I think that like, this is something that we should probably put a pause on, that, you know, and, if the country feels like I might've been responsible for this happening, it would be, you know, like I would even bring up the fucking, nuclear bomb of being like, you know, Heisenberg thought that this, you know, or anybody, like, you know, anybody who created it, it's like, you know, I wouldn't have thought that this would have been used for this. Like when I learned to split the atom and that it would be used for such horrible things and turn every country into this, you know, they only have a seat at the negotiating table because they have nukes. Like I didn't think that it would cause this. I was trying to save human lives, not end them.
Yeah.
Dude, how far would that have gone? Why can't he do this? Why is it so fucking hard? And like, look, you know, like it's crazy again, because like this is still the person that the current administration is propping up. And I said to you the other day, like, if they want more people to get vaccinated that are kind of like on the QAnon side or whatever, ask Trump to go around and because Trump got it, and his ego is fluffed by the fact that Operation Warp Speed was his idea, and he was like really did create this fucking miracle of like getting a vaccine out in basically less than a year.
Yeah.
I think he would do it. And then they asked Jen Psaki whether or not they would do that, and she said no. And it's like, do you? Then I don't want to hear from these people anymore about like who's causing deaths or whatever, because it's you. It's fucking you. If you believe that this vaccine is the thing that will prevent death, which it seems to kind of be the case, or at least like serious hospitalizations, that you're restricting our lives, you know, in our state, in our city for not getting it. You know, it's their fault. It's absolutely their fault.
Yeah.
And so I don't know.
Ugh.
But you know, what doesn't transfer coronavirus is sex, and the Olympics that I don't care about.
If you have COVID, you probably shouldn't have sex.
You know, herd immunity, baby.
But yeah, the Olympics are introducing sexless beds, and they had the opening ceremony like yesterday or something like that.
Yeah, I have your tweet here. You got
my tweet?
You sent it in the note. I mean.
Oh yeah. Here's the original thing. Games without sex. These are the anti-sex beds in which the Olympic athletes will sleep to avoid contagion of COVID. They are made of cardboard and will be recycled. They only support the weight of one person. It breaks in any sudden movement. So why is the caption say that will sleep to avoid contagion of COVID. When all of them are tested and all that, there's no possibility of COVID getting in.
Well, I mean, this, like, you can still get the Delta thing even if you have the vaccination. But and like that's what happened to that poor fucking tennis athlete, the 17-year-old.
Oh, that's right.
So and then now she can't compete at all, which is also kind of ridiculous to me. Like I don't really get why they're doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But really, what this is like we are out of money and we don't want to spend money on
proper beds.
On proper
for these
beds.
People.
And so like to have it be this that's like what I'm kind of realizing is you can use COVID to literally justify anything now. It's like,
yes,
like whether it be draconian surveillance state bullshit or now we don't want to spend money on comfortable beds.
We're so sorry, but in order to eat at our restaurant, we need to put a Q-tip all the way up into your nose to tickle your brain. And we need to do a temperature check, a blood swab, or a blood, what is that called when they take your blood?
A blood draw.
A blood draw. We've got to do all these things.
We need a letter from your second grade teacher.
It's just COVID.
It's just
standard
COVID.
procedure.
It's COVID.
Not a big deal.
We do need to clone your DNA and combine it with pigs, which is just part of COVID.
We're going to sell it to Susan Wojcicki, whose sister owns Ancestry.
Yes, and exactly. And then they're going to make
that they can advertise to you better on YouTube. It's all standard procedure, just COVID measures, so you guys are as safe as possible.
It's COVID. It's just all COVID. And I'm just waiting for the fucking Sigma, Phi, Delta, all the fraternity
the beta
names.
male variant.
Beta male variant. It only infects male feminists. That'd be kind of rad. Just at least get them to stop talking for a little while.
The Sigma male variant.
That's about all I got. That little video I made with the drone footage, I have that attached to the outro.
Oh, fantastic!
And so it's a little bit more lengthy. I made there's a remix of a song I made. It's like one of my favorite songs from the 60s, and I made it like really cinematic, the music behind it, and then I put it to like drone footage of China, and it just made it so bleak and dark. So
very bleak.
I kind of want to share it with you. If you're just listening, you'll just hear the song, obviously, which is
also
proud of.
great. Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll be here. I'm gonna play that after this, but we'll be here Saturday.
Next Saturday, not tomorrow, but the next Saturday, because we've got shit to do tomorrow.
Yeah. And this baby shower that is apparently co-ed, and so that's it.
I have something in my eye, and it's been bothering me the last 30 seconds, driving me crazy.
And I think he's got to go do a boofer.
I saw him squirt a little piss on the ground. he walked past, looked at me, and then walked away.
Yeah, so we got to do that. But anyway, we love you all. Thank you for the new people that came and watched.
Love you guys. Thanks for sticking around. Be sure to subscribe, follow, whatever. If you guys are on Twitch, we're here every Saturday at 3 p.m. Pacific. And we'll see you guys next time.
Next Saturday.
Bye.
Bye.
Let's go.